Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. There's a bit of a world title fight going on at the weekend that's kind of slipped under the radar. And it's between Ray Ford, who is a DAZN fighter, Matchroom fighter, and the Uzbek called Otabek Kholmatov. Now, Kholmatov is 25 years old. He's based in Florida, but like I say, originally from Uzbekistan. He's got quite a glossy record, 12 wins with 11 KOs, no draws, no defeats. Ford is also undefeated. He's only 24, so both these guys young. From Camden, New Jersey in the US, 14 wins, only 7 KOs and a draw. And the draw was an 8-round split draw against another undefeated fighter by the name of Aaron Perez. Now, regarding Ford, his following fight was against the currently revitalised Reece Bellotti, and he got rid of him in 3 rounds. And since then, he's gone on, a nice little run. I mean, he's beaten a couple of back-to-back undefeated fighters, Eduard Vasquez, who at the time was 11-0. Richard Medina was 13-0. He beat him. Both these fights were over in America. The Vasquez fight was a split decision, and the Medina fight was a unanimous decision over 10. Both those fights were over 10. But they did show, I saw both those fights, and it did show that this guy, he's fighting, he's not scared to fight fellow undefeated fighters, but he's also good at winning on points because he dominated Medina. And if memory serves, the Vasquez fight was a lot closer. Could have gone either way. But I don't remember a great deal. I remember a little bit about that fight, but not a great deal. It's also worth mentioning that the subsequent 2 fights after those 2 undefeated fighters, those wins over undefeated fighters, were against Zakaria Lucas, who was 25-1-1, and he stopped him in 8 rounds. And then in his last fight, which was in April last year, he beat Jesse Magdaleno. And Magdaleno was 29 wins, 1 defeat, no draws, and Ray outpointed him over 12, and that was quite a wide win if memory serves. So you can look at his record and say 14 wins and a draw and only 7 KOs, but the quality of the opposition hasn't been bad at all. And again, this kid's only 24 years old. This is for the vacant WBA featherweight title, and Kholmatov, if you look at his record, although it is, again, more sort of glossy and a little bit more eye-catching, 12 wins, no defeats, no draws, 11 KOs. I've seen him fight a couple of, I think he's fought a couple of Brits. Well, not Brits. Are they Brits? Who did he fight? I think he fought Thomas Patrick Ward and stopped him in 5 rounds. Because I think I'm right in saying Ward hasn't fought since. And that was about a year ago. And he's also fought someone else in Britain. Who the fuck was it? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm remembering this wrong. I don't know. I could be remembering this wrong, but I thought he fought someone else in Britain. But anyway, the old mind's wandering again. But if you look through his record, the quality of his opposition, even though Ward was undefeated, 33 wins, no draws, 1 draw and no defeats, and he did get stopped in 5. If you go down through his record, Kholmatov, he's got lots of wins against guys who haven't got a win on their ledger, and people who've got losing records very early on. I mean, the first half a dozen of his fights, I looked earlier at BoxRec, and he wasn't beating anyone. These were a complete, who's he of who, or who's who of he, or whatever you want to pronounce it, or whatever you want to say it. And his last fight, in fact, which was only in December, was against another journeyman, and he took his time. He stopped him in 8 rounds, but he took his time. That's the only fight since the Thomas Patrick Ward fight. He did have a win, a unanimous 12-round decision win over a guy called Gregorian. Anderlek, or something like that. Anderlek, Gregorian. Oh, I didn't know much about it, but he was undefeated. But if you weigh up Ray Ford's opposition with Kholmatov's opposition, there's no doubt about it. Ford has fought the better men overall over the course of his career, even though he's a year younger at 24. Now, Ford, again, emphasising that Ford, with all this experience he's got in long fights with decent opposition, learning how to outpoint people, I think this will set him in good stead for this fight. And over 12 rounds, although Kholmatov has been 12 rounds with this Gregorian guy, this guy was undefeated, he unanimously outpointed him over 12. That's the only occasion he's been any real length in a fight. I don't think he's done 10 rounds. And like I say, a lot of those early fights were against absolute non-entities, and he was getting the job done early. So I would say that the chickens might come home to roost here, because Kholmatov, to me, I think experience will tell here. I think that he'll probably take on the role of the aggressor, the banger, because of what his record suggests. But Ray Ford's got some pop too. It's deceptively thin on the ground. His KO percentage only 50%, but he can hit hard as well. Just ask Reece Bellotti, and Bellotti ain't a bad fighter. He's gone on to win, Commonwealth, British area level titles. I mean, he's not a world class fighter, but he's decent, and he was just wiped out by Ray Ford. That was back in 2021. Ford, I think, will take on the role of the boxer and probably contain Kholmatov with some nice counters. He'll probably use his feet a lot more. Kholmatov will be coming forward, swinging wide punches. Like I say, I haven't seen a great deal of Kholmatov, but the Thomas Patrick Ward fight, he looked like a guy who, in that typical Uzbek vein, is a pressure fighter, and kind of like Beck the Bully, and I think he'll be looking to take Ford's head off. There won't be a lot scientific going on. He'll have that air of the caveman. Come forward, lots of wide punches, close the gap quickly, usually walk in the front door. There ain't going to be much lateral movement from Kholmatov. And I think it'll give Ray Ford something to think about for maybe the first half of the fight, the first 6 rounds. But I see once he slows down a bit, and he will slow down, I think, Kholmatov, because of the lack of rounds he's got under his belt and the lack of really good quality fighters. I think in the second half of the fight, if Kholmatov hasn't got Ford out of there, I think Ford takes over, and I think he'll start to box probably between the 6th, 7th, 8th round. Those sort of middle rounds. I can see Ford gradually going through the gears, and then in the final third of the fight, so 9, 10, 11, and 12, or certainly 10, 11, and 12, the final quarter of the fight, I can see Ford, really letting his hands go and turning the screw. And my prediction for this fight is going to be a Ford win, if not comfortable points, like 116, 112, something like that, maybe even a late stoppage. I can see Kholmatov possibly running out of steam. What am I going to go for? I'll go for Ford on points, and I think it'll be a deserved points win. It could be controversial. It could be like a majority where you get one guy giving it a draw, and you think, no, I thought Ford won that. But I think Ford will outwork Kholmatov in the second half of the fight. Might stop him late, but I'm more inclined to say points. So that's my prediction. Like I say, this one's kind of slipping under the radar. It's on Saturday over in America. This is in, I can't remember, is it Verona? Where's Verona? State setting, I can't remember. Anyway, wherever the hell it is, it's on. And even though he's a DAZN fighter, Ray Ford, he's actually the away fighter, because I can't remember. I don't even know who won this purse bid, but it might be Top Rank. In which case, we could see some controversial scoring, maybe. But no, I'm going to stick my neck out. I think Ford's on the road, and I can see him pinching it, a decision, maybe controversial in the sense it's a split decision, but I think he'll win on points. But again, he might stop Kholmatov late. You just don't know. So, give me your opinion. It's a difficult one to predict because I ain't seen a great deal of Kholmatov. I've seen an awful lot of Ray Ford, though. Let me know what you think. Who's going to win? Subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you could do that, that would be brilliant. And also hit the like button. And yeah, I'm actually going to be away for the weekend, so I won't even see this fight until after the event. So I don't know if I'll do a review of it, but this is my prediction, my preview video anyway. Let me know what you think. Comments below, and I'll catch you later. Bye for now.